So, rumors are circulating around social media that Errol Spence left Derrick James. Now, Errol Spence himself did not come out and clarify nor deny any of these rumors. All he posted was, quote, "Gotta find a new home first," which that could mean anything. I mean, I remember the time where rumors came out that Frank Martin split with his trainer Derrick James, which we all know how that turned out. Them rumors turned out to be absolutely false. And this could be the case here. However, a lot of people are pointing out how Derrick James' gym, where Errol Spence used to train at, no longer has the same heavy bags with the Errol Spence logo on them. Which, if that's the case, if Derrick James went as far as changing the heavy bags with the Errol Spence logo on them, then that is a serious indication Errol Spence did fire Derrick James as his trainer, because there is no other logical explanation to why Derrick James will go as far as taking Errol Spence posters down from his gym and go as far as changing the heavy bags as well, unless that is the case. Now, if that is the case, and Errol Spence fired his trainer Derrick James, the $1 million question is going to be, why did Errol Spence make that decision? Well, that could be for multiple reasons. One of the reasons could be Ryan Garcia father Henry calling Bill Haney hair nappy, because that same day Errol Spence tweeted, "My hair nappy too, just like Bill." So perhaps Errol Spence was disappointed that Derrick James didn't check Ryan Garcia dad on that, because Derrick James had a look on his face like he was very uncomfortable when Henry said that. So did Bernard Hopkins. One thing for sure, Errol Spence clearly got offended, just like Devin Haney. That's why Devin Haney called out Henry for his racist remarks. So perhaps Errol Spence expected more out of Derrick James. What's not for certain, though, is if Derrick James did check Henry on that behind closed doors, and if that was the nail in the coffin to why Errol Spence split with Derrick James as a trainer, due to the nappy hair comments and Derrick James still being associated with Henry. Only God knows, and obviously Errol Spence. I remember the time when Kaepernick actually got fired from the NBA for taking a knee, and Errol Spence was very vocal about that in support of Kaepernick. So I know where Errol Spence stands when it comes to that. When it comes to these issues, Errol Spence is for his people, and I'm pretty sure he expects the same from Derrick James. That's why when Errol Spence tweeted, "I have nappy hair just like Bill," I couldn't wait to see the interaction between Errol Spence and Ryan Garcia father Henry when they do meet at Derrick James' gym. But apparently that's not going to happen anymore if these rumors are true. Now, the second reason could be Errol Spence felt Derrick James already took him far enough. He already taught him everything he can. And since they've been together for years, Derrick James couldn't offer him anything new. He couldn't teach him anything new. Due to that, Errol Spence felt the need to find a new trainer so he could learn new tricks, so he could get taught new things, especially since he's coming off a loss. And perhaps it's more than that, because I do know one thing about Errol Spence. He's very loyal. So if they did split, the reason had to be serious, or it had to have been multiple reasons. It could be all of the above and more or less. I mean, if this is as simple as just wanting a new trainer, wanting new eyes, new vision, that's going to see things from a different perspective, Errol Spence could have had easily done what Jamel Charlo did by getting an assistant coach, an additional trainer. However, if Errol Spence completely left Derrick James, there has to be something there that we don't know about. Nevertheless, Errol Spence is a fine athlete. He's a great fighter. So I can't wait to see him back in the ring. That's no secret. Errol Spence is one of the best fighters in the world. There is no shame in losing to the best fighter, the GOAT of his generation, Crawford, especially when you have fighters that are considered GOATs like Durant, who lost to nobodies when they were undefeated. That being said, we all know Errol Spence is one of the most entertaining fighters in the world, on top of being one of the best fighters in the world. So a fight that makes sense is Keith Thurman. I know Errol Spence shut the idea down of fighting Keith Thurman, but the fight really makes sense and the timing is right. Errol Spence is coming off a loss. Keith Thurman is coming off an injury and a long layoff. So why not? Especially when Errol Spence himself is coming off injuries. Actually, now that I'm thinking about it, both Errol Spence and Keith Thurman are coming off a long layoff and injuries. So why not make it happen and give the fans a fight they wanted to see a long time ago? I really want to see it. I think the build-up is going to be fireworks, and there's no doubt about it. The actual fight is going to be fireworks as well. Therefore, let's make it happen. On the other hand, when it comes to Derrick James, he's going to be A-OK with Errol Spence or without Errol Spence, because he has a lot of fighters that he's been training and he's still training today. For example, like Frank Martin and Ryan Garcia. Now, even if Ryan Garcia leaves Derrick James, if he loses to Devin Haney, he still has the ghost Martin. And even though Frank Martin has a tough fight coming up, I mean, Frank Martin versus Gervonta, it almost looks like Errol Spence versus Crawford 2.0. So Derrick James has a lot of tough fights on the come up. Fights that his fighters have a small probability of winning the fights. But even then, I know firsthand Derrick James want to enjoy the time with his family, because when we were trying to link up Andy Cruz with Derrick James, when Andy Cruz, the Cuban sensation, first defected from Cuba, he needed a trainer. So we asked Derrick James to train him, and Derrick James respectfully said no, because at that time he did have a lot of fighters like Anthony Joshua, Ryan, Errol Spence, Frank Martin. But on top of that, Derrick James wanted to spend time with his family too. So knowing that Derrick James made a lot of money in the sport of boxing, it is time for him to enjoy the fruits of his labor from all of the hard work he has been putting in the game. That's if the rumors are actually true to begin with, of Errol Spence and Derrick James splitting apart. Only time will tell. You guys asked me what's my thoughts on that. Well, there you go. Nothing lasts forever. And since we haven't seen Errol Spence and Derrick James together for quite some time, I'm talking about as simple as being together, discussing the future plans, taking a picture, or even doing mitts. That is a little revealing. But like I said before, only time will tell. That being said, go ahead and drop your thoughts in the comment section below. And let me know in the comment section, if Errol Spence did leave Derrick James, who will be a good new trainer for Errol Spence style? Subscribe below, and to be continued on the next episode of Akhi TV. Peace out. Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.